Good morning, YouTubians. It's Kermit's Ghost. You can call me Alan. It is Monday, the 25th of May, 2026. It's a bank holiday Monday here in the UK. Actually, I'm going to turn the camera around and show you this new area that's being developed in Brighton before I carry on. Well, today is a Blu-ray release day, and I'm currently at the Old Steine in Brighton, which has been in a redevelopment phase for the last 6 years. To be fair, though, it is looking very nice indeed. As you can see, as I spin the camera around, this is all happening in front of the Royal Pavilion, and it does cut through the main artery of Brighton. So as a driver and resident, it has been and still is a pain in the ass. But thankfully, according to the council's website, it's coming to an end with an estimated cost of £13 million. As I walk through what is now the pedestrianised zone, you can see where the old Art Deco bus stops used to be. Well, actually, they're still there. The road's just been removed. I'll pop a picture in of what it used to look like. Now, there are 3 Art Deco bus stops, which have been Grade 2 listed since the early 1990s, and the council will be leaving these in place, possibly as a shaded seating area. It's a bank holiday, and it's quite early, 7:45 actually, to be precise, and there's not many people milling around, but give it an hour or two, and this whole place will be buzzing. This particular section is fenced off at the moment, but a walkway around it has been open for quite some time. The council have also planted lots of trees, so this is going to be a massive improvement on the old road system, just not so much for the motorists. It is said that these bus shelters are going to have a fresh lick of paint and some new panes of glass put in, but you can bet they'll be a constant target for graffiti artists who can't seem to help themselves or let people just enjoy their surroundings unless it's been tagged by some oik. So moving around the corner, we are at the Old Steine War Memorial. This is also Grade 2 listed, and this was unveiled on the 7th of October 1922 by the Admiral of the Fleet, Earl Beatty. And if you are interested, there's a bust of Beatty near the fountain in Trafalgar Square, London. This is a very tranquil spot, and at the moment it's being used as a bathtub for the local seagulls and pigeons. And here is the War Memorial from the other side, and you can see as I pan around the Royal Pavilion for which I started. You can also make out another War Memorial. It's the pink granite obelisk to the right, and that is the 1882 Egyptian Campaign Memorial for the Royal Sussex Regiment. Also remembers those who died in the Nile expedition from 1884 to 1885. Right, that's enough history. I'm off for a coffee. Here I am at the entrance to HMV, and in no particular order, I'll start with the Casa 8 Paris. It's on the BFI. It's a comedy horror from 1974, and it's written and directed by Peter Weir. It's about the residents of a small Australian town who cause accidents in order to sell vehicle parts on for cash, and the victims on for medical experiments. Blu-ray is priced at £22.99, and the 4K is priced at £27.99. These include the 1979 TV movie called The Plumber, which was also directed by Peter Weir. Doctor Who, the movie next on the BBC. This is a science fiction adventure film from 1996 and it's directed by Geoffrey Sachs. This sees the 7th Doctor transporting the Master to Gallifrey and later being shot in San Francisco on New Year's Eve at the turn of the millennium. It stars Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann and Eric Roberts. The Blu-ray is priced at £14.99 and the 4K is priced at £24.99. Barry Lyndon next from Warner Brothers. This is an epic historical drama from 1975, directed by Stanley Kubrick. This is set in 1750. It's about an Irish rogue who goes AWOL in the British Army, later becomes a spy in the Prussian Army, and also climbs the social ladder to success. This one is priced at £9.99. The Mummy next from Second Sight. This is a British horror film from 1959, directed by Terence Fisher. This sees a team of archaeologists accidentally bring the mummified body of an Egyptian high priest back to life. He was buried alive to protect the deceased princess. This stars Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and it's priced at £18.99. The Hours next from 88 Films. This is a drama from 2002, directed by Stephen Daldry. It's a story told through 3 different time periods, all of which intertwine. First is from 1923 in Richmond, England, then 1951 Los Angeles, and the third is from 2002 New York City. It stars Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, Julianne Moore, Ed Harris, and Toni Collette. This one is priced at £19.99. Heroes 2 next from 88 Films. This is a Hong Kong martial arts film from 1974 that was co-written and directed by Shang Xie. This follows 2 martial artists who take on the Manchu forces after the destruction of a Shaolin temple. This one is priced at £16.99. La Professional next on Radiance Films. This is limited to 3,000 copies and it's a French action thriller from 1981 directed by Georges Lautner. This is about a French secret agent who is betrayed by his superiors, so after spending time in an African prison, he returns to France for some revenge. This one is priced at £17.99. Four Weddings and a Funeral, a romantic comedy from 1994 directed by Mike Newell. It's about a man who's hopelessly in love with an American woman, and through multiple weddings and a funeral, he attempts to woo her. This stars Hugh Grant, Andy McDowell, Simon Callow, John Hannah and Kristen Scott Thomas. And this is priced at £14.99. Diabolic next on Lightbulb Film Distribution. This is a horror film from last year directed by Daniel Phillips. When a woman confronts a vengeful spirit of a cursed witch, she gets more than she bargained for. This stars Elizabeth Cullen and John Kim. And this one is priced at £14.99. Insomnia next on Second Sight. This is a Norwegian neo-noir from 1997 starring Stellan Skarsgård. It's about a detective and his partner who are investigating the murder of a 17-year-old girl. But the detective is blackmailed by the murderer when he covers up his partner's death, which the detective is responsible for. The Blu-ray is priced at £18.99 and the 4K is priced at £26.99. But there's also a 4K limited rigid case edition which comes with a 120-page book and 6 art cards, and that one is priced at £44.99. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark from Warner Brothers next. This is a horror film from 1973 directed by John Newland. It's about a young girl who moves into an old house and accidentally releases evil creatures that were sealed in the basement. But can she warn her dad and his girlfriend in time? This one is priced at £9.99. The Hunger next from Warner Brothers. This is an erotic horror from 1983 that's directed by Tony Scott, about an ancient vampire who grants her lovers immortality. However, one of her conquests starts to age rapidly and this leads to a downward spiral. This stars Catherine Deneuve, David Bowie and Susan Sarandon. And this one is priced at £9.99. The Maltese Falcon next from Warner Brothers. This is a film noir from 1941, written and directed by John Huston. This is a private eye getting hired to find a valuable statue and gets embroiled when a group of dangerous adventurers are also looking for it. This stars Humphrey Bogart, Mary Astor, Peter Lorre and Sidney Greenstreet. And this one is priced at £9.99. All the President's Men next from Warner Brothers. This is a biographical political thriller from 1976 centered around the Watergate scandal which led to the investigation into President Richard Nixon. This stars Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman, Hal Holbrook, Jack Warden, Ned Beatty and Jason Robards. This one is priced at £9.99. The Ginger Snaps trilogy next on Second Sight. This is a supernatural coming-of-age trilogy. First one's from 2000, followed by Ginger Snaps Unleashed from 2004, followed by Ginger Snaps The Beginning, also from 2004. This is the Fitzgerald sisters whose lives are, well, let's just say, interacting with werewolves. This one is priced at £26.99. The Thing from Another World next from Warner Brothers. This is a science fiction horror from 1951, directed by Christian Nyby. When an alien that was buried in the permafrost is uncovered at an Arctic outpost, all hell breaks loose. This stars Margaret Sheridan, Kenneth Tobey and James Arness, and this one is priced at £9.99. Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. This is a fantasy adventure from 1984 that was directed by Hugh Hudson with Christopher Lambert as the title character. He was raised from a baby by apes after his parents die after being shipwrecked. This also stars Ian Holm, Ralph Richardson, James Fox, Andy McDowell, Nigel Davenport and David Suchet. This one is priced at £9.99. The Shop Around the Corner next from Warner Brothers. This is about two quarrelling shop workers in pre-war Budapest. Both are pen pals and are in love with whom they are writing to, but they are unaware they're actually corresponding with each other. This stars James Stewart and Margaret O'Sullivan, and it's priced at £9.99. Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell next on Second Sight. This is a British horror from 1974 directed by Terence Fisher. This sees Victor Frankenstein setting up shop in an insane asylum. It stars Peter Cushing as Victor and David Prowse as the creature. This one is priced at £18.99 and it carries a 15 certificate. Transcending Dimensions next from Third Window Films. This is limited to 2,000 copies. Transcending Dimensions is a surreal science fiction crime thriller from last year, and this release also includes a drama called The Blood of Rebirth from 2009, which is based on a Japanese legend from the 15th century adventurer. This 2-disc release is priced at £29.99. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers next. This is a musical from 1954 and it's directed by Stanley Donen. This is set in Oregon in 1850 and it follows a newly married couple where the wife is introduced to her husband's unruly brothers and she teaches them how to behave and how to court women. This stars Jane Powell and Howard Keel and it's priced at £9.99. Grand Prix next from Warner Brothers. This is a sports drama from 1966 directed by John Frankenheimer. It's about an American race car driver who switches to a Japanese team after he's dropped by his sponsors. This stars James Garner and Eva Marie Saint and it's priced at £9.99. Murder My Sweet next from Warner Brothers. This is a film noir from 1944 directed by Edward Dmytryk. This is about three initial separate mysteries that are actually intertwined. It stars Dick Powell, Claire Trevor and Otto Kruger. This one is priced at £9.99. Gaslight next from Warner Brothers. This is a film noir from 1944. It's about a woman who's looking for a lost necklace that belonged to her aunt, but she doesn't know that her husband murdered her said aunt years before, and he's now controlling her behaviour. This stars Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer, and it's priced at £9.99. The Devil's Candy next on Second Sight. This is a horror film from 2017 that was written and directed by Sean Byrne. About an artist who moves into a new home with his wife and daughter, but dark forces are linked to the previous occupants. They compel him to paint disturbing images which lead to a kidnapping. The Blu-ray is priced at £18.99. The 4K has been recalled because of a printing mistake on the cover, so that will come out in a week or two. But there is a 4K limited edition which comes with a 120-page book plus 6 art cards and a rigid outer case, and that one is priced at £44.99. Waiting for Guffman next. When a town is celebrating its 150th anniversary, a community theatre decide to put on a show. Then word spreads of a visit from a Broadway producer and things get out of hand and ramp up a gear or two. This stars Christopher Guest, Catherine O'Hara, Fred Willard and Eugene Levy. Keep an eye out for Bob Odenkirk as well. This is priced at £9.99. Wasteman next from Lionsgate Films. This is a prison drama from last year directed by Cal McCall. This is a man about to make parole after serving 13 years behind bars, but the arrival of a new cellmate jeopardizes everything. This stars David Johnson and Tom Blythe, and it's priced at £14.99. Ride the High Country next. This is a western from 1962 that's co-written and directed by Sam Peckinpah. It's about a retired lawman and his friend who are transporting gold from a mine to a small town bank, but two people are planning to rob the Mosses en route. It stars Randall Scott, Joel McRae, Edgar Buchanan and Warren Oates. This one is priced at £9.99. Wolfen next from Warner Brothers. This is a science fiction horror movie from 1981 directed by Michael Wadley. This follows a cynical New York detective who is trying to get to the bottom of what seems like ritualistic killings. This stars Albert Finney and Diane Verona. This one is priced at £9.99. Mr. Nice Guy from Warner Brothers next. This is a Hong Kong action comedy from 1997 directed by Sammo Hung. It's about a TV chef who helps a reporter who's being chased by a gang as she has incriminating evidence of them on a videotape. This stars Jackie Chan, Gabriella Fitzpatrick and Richard Norton. This one is priced at £9.99. The Mystery of the Wax Museum next. This is a mystery horror from 1933 directed by Michael Curtis. It's about a sculptor who's disfigured when his business partner burns down his museum, and when the sculptor pops up years later he has a new technique for his craft. This stars Fay Ray and Lionel Atwill, and it's priced at £9.99. Fallout Season 2 next on Spirit Entertainment. This is based on a video game, and it's set 200 years after an apocalyptic event. This sees Lucy and the Ghoul heading to Las Vegas to track down Hank, and it stars Ella Purnell, Walton Goggins and Carl McLachlan. The Blu-ray is priced at £29.99, and the 4K is priced at £39.99. The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean next from Warner Brothers. This is a Western comedy drama from 1972 directed by John Huston about a self-appointed Judge Roy Bean who converts a bordello into a courthouse. This stars Paul Newman, John Huston, Jacqueline Bisset, Anthony Perkins, Victoria Principal and Stacey Keach. This one is priced at £9.99. Outland next from Warner Brothers. This is a science fiction thriller from 1981 that was written and directed by Peter Hyam about an honest marshal at a corrupt mining colony on Jupiter's third moon. This stars Sean Connery and Peter Boyle, and it's priced at £9.99. Them next from Warner Brothers. This is a black and white science fiction creature feature from 1954 that's directed by Gordon Douglas. This sees giant irradiated ants are affected by nuclear testing, which then become a menace to the US populace. This one is priced at £9.99. Hamlet next. This is a drama from last year directed by Neil Correa. This is a reimagining of the Shakespeare classic, which is now set in modern London, with Riz Ahmed as Prince Hamlet. And this also stars Art Malik as Claudius and Timothy Spall as Polonius. This one is priced at £15.99. Peter Hujar's Day. This is a biographical drama from last year that was written and directed by Ira Sachs. This is set in 1974 in New York City, and it follows a photographer over a 24-hour period. This one stars Ben Whishaw and Rebecca Hall, and it's priced at £17.99. Sirat next from Altitude Film Distribution. This is a road movie drama directed by Oliver Lax, and it sees a father and son trying to locate his daughter, who was last seen at a dance festival in Morocco, and the landscape they travel through is less than desirable. The Blu-ray is priced at £15.99, and the 4K is priced at £24.99. Well, despite there being some 46 releases today, I'm only picking up 2 titles, as all the Warner Brother films I already have, as they were released as HMV premium titles. So I will be buying the Season 2 of Fallout, plus I'll grab the Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell film. Also own the Four Weddings movie, plus The Mummy, as well as the Ginger Snaps trilogy. But put down in the comments if you plan to pick anything up from this huge pile of movies this week. Hey everybody, welcome back. Lots to talk about. I'm going to do 2 films. I'm going to talk about a box set, and I'm going to talk about another 2 films. So 8 titles in total. So let's crack on with it. Okay, I'm going to start off with Dead of Winter. It's a psychological thriller from last year directed by Brian Kirk. He directed the film 21 Bridges, plus a fair few TV episodes on shows such as Game of Thrones, Penny Dreadful, Day of the Jackal, and many more. So this stars the lovely Emma Thompson as, well, what a great actress she is first. She is playing the character of Barb, widowed woman heading to northern Minnesota to scatter her late husband's ashes. And as the title suggests, this is set in the dead of winter, and when she gets there, the roads are near on impassable. She becomes a little bit disorientated. She's driving this beat up old van with no sat nav on board. So Barb, she stops at this cabin which is in the middle of nowhere, situated on the edge of the forest, and she asks the cabin owner for some directions. Well, just a few hours later, Barb witnesses that cabin owner holding a young handcuffed woman at gunpoint and escorting her back to his cabin. But he's not alone. He's got a female companion helping him. And that's all I'm going to say story-wise, but this all happens within the first 20 minutes of the film starting. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, will Barb rescue this young girl safely? Will she get the police involved? Is the girl really a hostage, or is it all a trap? Well, you have to watch it and find out for yourself. Now, this also starts Mark Menchaca as the cabin owner. You've got Judy Greer as his partner, and Laurel Marsden as a female in handcuffs. I enjoyed this one. There are a few twists and turns along the way. Solid performances throughout. And the music in this is provided by Volker Beetleman. Now, his films include All Quiet on the Western Front, The Amateur, and Conclave. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour, 38 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Well, the front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was Dead of Winter. Okay, next one to show you is Toy Soldiers. This is an action thriller from 1991, directed by Daniel Petrie Jr. He also co-wrote the screenplay alongside David Cope, who is a brilliant writer. He did the screenplay for Jurassic Park, 2005 version of War of the Worlds, Mission Impossible, The Paper, Death Becomes Her, plus a film I'll be showing a little bit later. So this film opens up with a drug lord demanding his criminal father be released from prison. But when his demands are denied, he throws the judge out of his helicopter to his death, just to send a message. Later we cut to a prep school. We got 5 teenage boys. They're considered to be troublemakers, pain in the dean's side. The dean is being played by Louis Gossett Jr. He was gunnery sergeant in An Officer and a Gentleman. And the 5 boys who are troublemakers are Billy, played by Sean Austin, Joey, played by Will Wheaton, as well as Snuffy, Ricky, and Hank, Biddy being a ringleader. So the drug lord, from the start of the movie, he decides he's going to reattempt his efforts to get his father released, but this time he's going to take over the prep school. He kills a student, a teacher, and a security guard in doing so. And they're looking for one particular student to use as leverage, but unfortunately he was taken out of school the day before. So when the police, they alerted to the situation, they send a squad car in, but it is then blown up, and it's this point that the students I mentioned earlier, they decide they're going to fight back. And that's all I'm going to say, but don't worry, this all happens very early on in the film. You've also got Denholm Elliott as the head teacher. You've got Jerry Orbach as Joey's father as well. Pretty good action film. It's been done many times before, Under Siege, and since, I should say. Die Hard, Olympus Has Fallen, Red Dawn. is a formula that works. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 52 minutes. Let's take a look inside. The front cover image of the delinquent students has been put onto the disc. So that was Toy Soldiers. Okay, last week I mentioned that Imprint Films kindly sent me a box of goodies, and this week I'm going to show the Essential Film Noir Collection 6 box set, which has 4 movies inside. And in here we have Naked Alibi from 1954, alongside 3 world first Blu-ray releases, and they are Ring of Fear, Hell's Island and Flame of the Islands. So I'm going to take a look at the outer box first, and then we'll delve into the 4 films in more detail. So here we have the high gloss finish box, very sturdy. We've got an image in the background there with the title on the front. On the side there we have all the films listed. On the other side we have the title of the box set. On the top we have the title on the box set. Underneath we have some text specs. And on the back we have this information card which has all the special features listed. I'll put an image up in the corner there. And on the back there we have an image there of Gene Barry from the film Naked Alibi. So removing the lid that is unique to Imprint Films, it's nice and snug on there. You can then put that information card inside. We have 4 films, each in an individual case, which I love. Take them out. As you can see, it's a double thickness case, and the colour on the inside matches the title colour on the box. First title from the set is Naked Alibi, black and white crime film from 1954, directed by Jerry Hopper. It stars Gene Barry as Albert Willis. Now, Gene's films include 40 Guns, War of the Worlds from 1953 and War of the Worlds from 2005. So Albert's arrested for being drunk and disorderly, but the real reason they bring him in is because they suspect him of a spate of violent robberies. But because he starts a fight with one of the questioning detectives, he is let go. Now the reason behind that is because the department is being investigated over police brutality. Later the next day, the officer that was involved in that fight is murdered and Albert's brought back in for questioning. But again, he's released through lack of evidence. Albert's then put under surveillance, but he slips a towel and 2 more officers are killed. He claims he was just going to the church at the time. So Chief Joe Connery confronts Albert a little bit too aggressively. He's photographed, leads to his dismissal. So he then hires a private detective to have Albert followed to prove he's the killer and clear his own name. But is Albert really the actual killer? You have to watch it and find out for yourself. I won't say any more story-wise, but I will mention this also stars Don Haggerty as the private detective. Now, Don's films include Sands of Iwo Jima, Quebec, and Angels in the Outfield, and Don actually worked as a counterintelligence agent during World War II. Plus, there's also Gloria Graham as Mariana. She's in the abusive relationship with Albert. Gloria's films include The Bad and the Beautiful, for which she nabbed the Oscar, plus Big Heat and Oklahoma. Now, pitch quality wasn't too bad. It had some grainy moments, but it is 72 years old and it does add to the atmosphere of the movie. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour 26 minutes. Let's take a look inside. The front cover image has been put onto the disc, and on the reverse of the cover there is a screenshot from the film. So that was Naked Alibi. Okay, next one to show you is from 1954, and it's Ring of Fear. Now this one is in colour and it's directed by James Edward Grant, who was also a screenwriter on films such as Sands of Iwo Jima, which starred Don Haggerty from Naked Alibi. Also 3 Violent People, which I showed just a few weeks ago, and Circus World, which starred John Wayne. So this movie stars Sean McCloy as Dublin O'Malley. Now Dublin has just escaped from a maximum security mental hospital by beating several staff members that were in his way. He does actually kill a man as well, takes his clothes and fakes his own death. Now, turns out that Dublin used to work for the Clyde Beatty Circus. Now, that's one of those old school circuses with performing animals such as elephants, lions, horses, the works. Dublin was infatuated with a trapeze artist called Valerie, who's played by Marion Carr, and Valerie, well, she's since moved on. She's married another aerial performer and she has a daughter of her own. And Dublin, he decides he's going to join the circus and sabotage it. So he blackmails one of the circus clowns into causing accidents, like weakening the lion tamer's rope with acid, that kind of thing. His aim is to eventually kill Valerie's husband, and this makes all the performers believe there's a curse on the circus. So the manager, he hires an investigator to get to the bottom of things. Now, I won't say any more, but I will mention it also stars Mickey Spillane as himself. Now, Mickey, you'll know, he created the character of Mike Hammer, and his character is featured in several movies. Now, this was a pretty good film, apart from all the animal cruelty. You do see the lion tamers act in full, with the lions being whipped and kids looking onwards with hot dogs chomping down on popcorn, that kind of thing. I remember going to see these kind of circuses as a kid. I hated every minute of it. Picture quality was flawless. It is a good film overall, but obviously the cruelty as well. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 33 minutes. Let's take a look inside. The front cover image has been put onto the disc, and on the reverse of the cover is a screenshot from the film. So that was Ring of Fear. Next one to show you is Hell's Island. It's from 1955, also in colour, and directed by Phil Carson. He made Walking Tall 1973 and Brothers Rico 2 years after this. So this story is told in flashbacks. It's explained by Mike Cormack, who's played by John Payne. John's films include Larceny, Hidden Fear and Miracle on 34th Street from 1947. So Mike was working for the DA. He was engaged to be married, so life was good. But he was sacked and dumped in quick succession, and he now works in a casino providing security. Now, during his shift, he's hired by a very wealthy man called Barsland to retrieve a ruby from a crashed airplane in the Caribbean. Barsland being played by Francis L. Sullivan in his last film role. So Mike is expected to travel to Puerto Rosario, as Barsland believes that the plane was deliberately crashed to hide the ruby's theft. And Mike's ex has the ruby, and it just so happens that the pilot of the downed craft is married to Mike's ex-fiancée, Janet, who's being played by Mary Murphy. Mike has still very strong feelings for Janet, and when he meets up with her, he learns that her husband's now in prison, and she actually persuades him to break her husband out of jail. Mary's films include Off Limits, The Wild One and Sitting Bull. She is absolutely stunning. I won't say any more story-wise, but this has got a lot of twists and turns. Plus there's a running voiceover narration from Mike, which was a lot of fun. For me, this was actually the best film in the set. You can see that this was very heavily influenced by The Maltese Falcon, which was made in 1941. Picture quality on this was absolutely superb, and it's got a runtime of 1 hour 24 minutes. Let's take a look inside. The front cover image has been put onto the disc, and on the reverse of the cover you have a screenshot from the film that has been altered. So that was Hell's Island. The last film in this set is Flame of the Islands. This is from 1956, directed by Edward Ludwig, and the film opens up with the death of a very wealthy, powerful businessman. His wife is Evelyn, and she suspects he was having an affair with his secretary, Rosalind D., who's played by Yvonne De Carlo. Evelyn, she's not upset by this at all. In fact, she invites Rosalind to her mansion, and she thanks her for bringing some happiness to her husband's final years. In fact, she hands her a cheque for $100,000, equivalent to 1.25 million in today's money. She takes it and quickly quits her job. Now, Yvonne's films include The Desert Hawk, Silver City, and Ten Commandments, where she played the character Sephora. Anyway, she immediately invests $75,000 of her wealth in this elite casino in the Bahamas. Now, Rosalind's got a plan in mind. She once had a relationship with a young man called Doug. This was way back when she was 15 years old and went by the name Linda Darcy. She hopes to get back with him as he lives on the island and nearby, Doug being played by Howard Duff. So Doug, from a wealthy background, he now takes care of his frail but controlling mother, who's played by Barbara O'Neill, who's only actually 3 years older than her on-screen son, Howard. I'll leave the story there, but there are so many subplots going on in this film. It's not overly complicated, but it's a little bit unnecessary. I will mention it's a shame that this movie has so much rear projection scenes going on, despite the fact it was all filmed on location in the Bahamas. Maybe they didn't have permission, maybe they didn't have the means to film outside. Who knows? Picture quality, very good overall, but as I mentioned, there was a lot of rear projection on this film. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's take a look inside. That front cover image has been put onto the disc, and on the reverse of the cover there is a screenshot from the film. So that was Flame of the Islands, and that was the Essential Film Noir Collection 6. So thank you very much to Imprint Films. There will be a link in the description below to this box set should you wish to purchase it. Next one to show you is The Deadly Bees. It's a British horror film from 1966 directed by Freddie Francis. Now, his films include Son of Dracula, The Creeping Flesh and Legend of the Werewolf. This film opens up with a government agency receiving a letter from a beekeeper claiming that he's bred some killer bees, and if he isn't taken seriously, he's going to unleash them in the public. They dismiss it as a hoax, and then soon after, on Seagull Island, you've got a couple who run a farm which doubles as a rest home. They receive a call from a friend saying they got an exhausted pop star in need of some rest. Come and stay with them for a couple of weeks. The pop singer, who they're unfamiliar with, is Vicky Robbins, being played by Susanna Lee, who worked with the director before on Son of Dracula. The farmers are Ralph Hargrove, played by Guy Dolman, and his wife is Mary, being played by Catherine Finn. Their relationship isn't the best, and when Mary suspects that Ralph has killed her dog using his killer bees, she attempts to destroy his hives by dousing them in petrol and lighting them on fire. which doesn't go down well with Ralph. But was he behind the death of her dog? Well, you have to watch it and find out for yourself. Now, this also stars Frank Finlay as a Hargrove's neighbour. Now, Frank, you may know from the Musketeers movie, where he played the character of Porthos. Also, he was Jacob Marley in George C. Scott's A Christmas Carol as well. Now, this wasn't a bad movie at all. Okay, the effects were a little bit ropey. It was 1966. I'm sure it was the best they could do for a film that's 60 years old. Picture quality, though, was incredibly crisp. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 24 minutes, so not very long at all. Let's take a look inside. So an image that is not on the cover has been put onto the disc. And on the reverse of the cover, you have some screenshots on the film and the original poster art. So that was The Deadly Bees. Next and last is Cold Storage. This is a science fiction horror film with sprinkles of humour. It's from this year and it's directed by Johnny Campbell. His only other film was Alien Autopsy, and that was 20 years ago, and it starred Ant and Dec. I actually enjoyed that film. This is based off a book by David Cope, and oddly enough I actually read the book just weeks before this film was announced. Very good timing indeed. The book is brilliant, by the way. I recommend it. So this film opens up in a small Australian settlement in the middle of nowhere, where this alien microfungus has piggybacked on an air tank from a Skydap which crash landed in 1979. 26 years later, it's spread and it's killed everybody in the town. 2 government agents show up with a biochemist to assess the situation, and it doesn't end well for one of them. And then they take a sample of this fungi back to a base, and it's bombed as well by the Air Force, and it's stored in a deep underground bio-level 4 super cool bunker guarded by soldiers. Well, time passes, the government agent had their cutbacks, and the bunker is eventually sold to a private company and turned it into a storage facility. Unfortunately, the military didn't empty the fungus from the bio-level 4 chamber, and it's now been unsupervised. It's broken out of its container and it's spread to the outer room. Working in this storage facility is Travis, aka Tea-Cake, being played by Joe Carey, who you'll know as Steve from Stranger Things. He notices an alarm going off and he decides he's going to investigate alongside his co-worker Naomi, who's played by Georgina Campbell, no relation to the director. And that's all I'm going to say story-wise, but I will mention it also stars Liam Neeson and Leslie Manfield. They are Robert and Trini. They were the government agents from the start of the film, and they are the world's only hope of stopping this fungus. Now, the CGI in this is a little bit ropey at times, but it's a fun movie nonetheless. And it's got a runtime of 1 hour 39 minutes, so it zips by. Let's take a look inside. The slipcover and the cover have the same image. There's an advert for Studio Canal Films and Hot Sauce. And the front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was Cold Storage. So a big thank you to Imprint Films for sending over that film noir box set. There'll be a link in the description below to where you can purchase that for yourself, should you wish. So that was it. Have you seen any of those? Do you plan to pick them up or just want to leave a comment? Then do so down below. I will read every single one and I'll try to reply if I have at the time. Give the video a thumbs up, really does help the channel. And subscribe if you haven't. It's all free. Why wouldn't you? And on that note, all that's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.